welcome everyone back to another week of the Focus TV. We got Octavia Wyatt here, Carlo Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpet Jr. We are very happy to be back. We got a lot to get through. So Octavia, just hand you the reins. And then there were four.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so last week, of course, we went through the wild card weekend. No, yeah, wild card weekend was last weekend. Weekends are running together. And this weekend we just had a division round. So we had, like you said, 4 games, 8 teams. We are now down to 4, but I'll go through each game based on the order that they were played in this past week. My mouse wants to cooperate. There we go. So in the first game, the Denver Broncos played against the Buffalo Bills. They defeated the Buffalo Bills 33-30 in overtime. As well as Denver played, I think unfortunately for them, the storyline coming out of this is the fact that of just how bad a lot of people are perceiving that Josh Allen played. We have all heard the talks throughout the year. Right before the playoffs started was probably the loudest when there was no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson on the AFC side. That it would be, up to Josh Allen to see if he could finally get to a Super Bowl and bring that franchise their first Super Bowl ever. He looked like he was Superman in the first week, and he just looked the complete opposite. I can really say this was probably one of the worst games I've seen him play. And that's tough for them. Obviously, his turnovers were the difference in this game. I mean, despite having a semi-productive night, his 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 2 lost fumbles directly led to Denver points and an overtime loss. Josh Allen delivered explosive plays, but ultimately committed the 4 turnovers. Um, and it really just swung the momentum in the opposite direction for them. Despite Buffalo never punting and scoring on 6 drives, which also just adds insult to injury. The giveaways basically arrest pretty much anything good they did on offense. They were just at so many bad, inopportune times. And you got to give a lot of credit to Denver's defense. They played well all year. So, as bad as you want to say Josh Allen was, the defense had to confuse them in some way, shape, or form where those opportunities were out there for them. And we always say in the postseason, if you don't have ball security, it's going to be really, really tough for you guys to win a game. Um, but adding insult to injury on the other side, as well as Bo Nix played, unfortunately for him, his season is over with a dislocated ankle. To see him actually still kind of stay in the game, and when they had to really go back and show the video of it because they didn't make the statement until after the game was over that he broke his ankle, dislocated his ankle, but he'd be out for the rest of the playoffs, is a heartbreak for them. They've had an amazing season. They were the number 1 seed, and now they have to turn to Jarrett Stidham. But there's a lot of confidence in Jarrett Stidham, at least from Sean Payton. Apparently, he was handpicked to be the backup. I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. But it's definitely a blow to them, and it's in a year where they've had a really, really good year. Before his injury, I mean, he played a lot of clutch football within the game. He led a late go-ahead touchdown drive and an efficient overtime execution to set up the winning field goal by Will Lutz. Um, he finished 26 for 46, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and added a team high rushing of 29 yards. Uh, on the other side, Buffalo did tie the game in the final minute of regulation. But Denver just really out executed them. It was a semi sloppy game for, well, I don't know if you want to call it semi, but it was a sloppy game for the Bills, and the Denver Broncos just executed on their miscues, and that's what you're supposed to do. When a team gives you those opportunities, you have to execute and you have to go forward with them. This marks another divisional round exit for Josh Allen, fourth in the last 5 seasons, and it ultimately got his head coach fired. Sean McDermott was relieved of his duties after that game, and the coaching carousel continues, as we have seen so far in this offseason. His firing marked 10 opening positions this cycle, and you would expect him to get a lot of looks and interest. It's only been a day or so since he's been on the market, so I'm sure he's getting ready to set up some things. I always be interested to see if these coaches decide to take a year off, like Tomlin plans to do, although he's still under contract with the Steelers. But yeah, it just wasn't their day, and Denver continues to go forward with their. I mean, we talk about, I know, and we'll get to that game in a second. We talk about how the Bears had a lot of late game heroics. So did the Broncos, and they were able to, you know, win when it matters. And they'll be going to the AFC Championship game. And I won't say be going; they will be hosting the AFC Championship game. Next, we had the Seattle Seahawks against the San Francisco 49ers, and the San Francisco 49ers lost to the Seahawks 41-6. I mean, it was probably one of the better games that we've seen Seattle play this year, and that says a lot because they've had a lot of good games this year. But they were basically clicking on all three phases of the game to open up the game with a 95 yard kick return by Raheem Shaheed, who of course came over after the trade deadline, which was a huge pickup for them, obviously. I mean, how else do you start a game like that? How do you start a game like that? And then literally was no looking back. Seattle continued their late season ground surge. They posted 175 yards rushing, their fourth game of over 160. Kenneth Walker III had 116 yards on 19 carries and 3 rushing touchdowns. The rushing attack definitely gave them full control of the clock. They were able to control the clock, tempo and physicality. But it will now all be on Kenneth Walker's shoulder. There will be no more 1-2 punch of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, who Zach Charbonnet is also out for the season with a torn ACL. So their running game kind of just got resurgent towards the end of the season and gearing up into the playoffs. We're going to have to see if they're going to be able to continue to hold that up against the team that they're going to be playing next week, which will be a team that they definitely have played this year. Despite what they are now saying was an oblique injury for Sam Darnold. He was 12 of 17 on passing, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. He didn't make too many major mistakes. He wasn't asked to like put the team on his shoulders and do everything. They all worked as a unit. As I said, all 3 phases were definitely involved. And they just BCA, and I mean, it hurts me to, well, it doesn't hurt me to say it, but the 49ers did everything that they could. McCaffrey went out for a brief period in this game as well. They also lost another tight end in this game. They just had so many injuries, and I don't know how many. I feel like this happens. It's been happening a lot more frequently with them. So hopefully for them, they're going to have a healthy season. And it really sucks that for them that, Christian McCaffrey was the one that was injury prone or whatever you want to say. And he was relatively healthy this year, and nobody else around him was healthy. That was really, really tough for them. But this was the first time that Kyle Shanahan has ever lost in a divisional round. So pretty much once they get past wildcard weekend, they're usually a lock to go past and at least get to the championship game. So this was the first time he never did. Of course, like I said, they were missing Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, who was on the sideline, and there was a chance he played, but he did not. And of course, George Kittle, who also tore his Achilles last week. They had the Seattle defense just capitalized from the beginning. They had 3 forced turnovers, 3 fourth down stops. They hold the Niners to just 2 field goals. They were just overmatched. For their team to get where they were, the 49ers, I know it's probably not a consolation prize and nobody's here for moral victories, but to get as far as they did, a lot of people didn't see it coming. Double-digit win team this year. But for the Seattle Seahawks, the 35-point margin tied their largest postseason victory margin since Super Bowl 58. I think that's 58. I'm bad with numerical numbers. Just pretty much how big that win was for them. So now they will also be hosting the NFC Championship game. So I don't know the last time you had both number ones make it all the way through and be able to host those games. But we will now go to the next game, which will tell us who will be playing against the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship. So in the third game of the weekend, the New England Patriots played against the Houston Texans, and the New England Patriots, that is a terrible picture of CJ. New England Patriots defeated the Houston Texans 28-16. And I mean, I hate to say this was the least of his worries in this game because this looks very worrisome. But oh man, I hate to say CJ Stroud regressed. But it looked really, really bad. A catastrophic just turnover meltdown for their team. I don't think they had probably like less than half of the amount of turnovers they had in the postseason than they had for the entire year. It seems like they committed five total turnovers, including 4 first half interceptions by CJ Stroud. I don't know where he was looking. I don't know what was going on. And I really got tired of them panning to him on the sideline. And he just looked like somebody killed his puppy. you know, it didn't look like there was anybody around him to rally him to try to get his head back in the game. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it's really hard when you have a really good defense like that, and your defense can pretty much bail you out of everything or anything. And they just couldn't do it this game. They did everything that they possibly could in this game, but with the amount of turnovers that they had in the field position, and even so, they kind of bend don't break to a certain degree, even though of course they lost the game, but they held the Patriots to, either some field goals or not even scoring on some of those turnovers. But the offense could never get going. Of course, they didn't have Nico Collins. They lost Dalton Schultz in this game as well. Christian Kirk, had a little bit of resurgence. And I know we didn't talk about him because he didn't play all year, but they never were able to get Joe Mixon going this year. Woody Marks couldn't get anything going in this game as well. And I don't even think they tried with Nick Chubb. But yeah, New England, the Patriots, they were very disciplined, which doesn't surprise me with a coach like Mike Vrabel. And they just repeatedly just try to continuously capitalize off of Houston mistakes. Like I said, they forced 5 turnovers, flipping short fields and preventing the Texans from mounting meaningful drives. And, that guy in the picture right there, Drake May, is on the precipice of going to a Super Bowl. Second-year quarterback Drake May, he gave the New England Patriots their first AFC Championship game berth in 8 years. So a lot of people are already saying we're going back to another dynasty after leaving the Patriots, going to the Chiefs, and now we're back to the Patriots. But I still think we're a little early. I know a lot of people, and myself as well, I always say you can't control who you play. I don't think they had that tough of a regular season schedule. I would like to see them repeat it next year, but of course we won't really know until the end of this season if they make it past this. And it's going to be interesting knowing that they have that defense, because their defense is pretty good as well. Stephon Diggs showed up well. I know he's got to be a happy camper. The Bills are out, the Texans are out, and he's on his way to a championship game with an opportunity to possibly go to the Super Bowl. But the Texans, this loss dropped them to 0-7 all-time in divisional round games, making them the only franchise that has never reached a conference championship. We know that they're one of the newer teams, but still, it's tough for them. And they now have a decision if they're going to pick up CJ Stroud's 5th-year option. We know the going rate for a quarterback nowadays is $50 million plus. Will they be willing to pay him $50 million plus? We shall see. So the New England Patriots will be traveling to Denver to play against the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship. And last but not least, we had the Los Angeles Rams, who played against the Chicago Bears. The Los Angeles Rams defeated the Bears 20-17, also in overtime. This was a game. Like I said, we talked about earlier, Broncos have had a lot of late game comebacks and heroics, but the Bears have had their share of those as well. I was ready to change the channel. I'm not even gonna lie. As soon as I saw Caleb Williams just start rushing all the way back to midfield, I was like, "Oh, let's just wrap this up." To get the playoff that he did, it was crazy just to watch. But on the other side of that, the Los Angeles Rams, I don't think they played their best offensive game. We know the weather had, some bearing in this. We know they're not really that great in cold weather games. We've seen it over the last couple of years. But they sometimes are able to hold on, and they were able to do so in this game. Their defense is really what helped them out as well. Their Rams defense forced 3 interceptions from Caleb Williams, including a decisive overtime pick that set up the winning field goal. And their offense, they just literally relied on, of course, they had Devontae Adams, they have Puka Nacua, they have Tyler Higbee, they have Colby Parkinson, they have all of these great pieces. But it was Kyren Williams in this game for them. He scored both Rams touchdowns, power and late game resurgence. The Rams finished with 31 carries for 111 rushing yards, which most of it being from Kyren Williams. Though, like I said, I don't think this was Matthew Stafford's best game. It was enough to get them out of this game and go on to the NFC Championship. He definitely had heavy pressure, so their offensive line was not up to snuff like they have been for majority of the year. He took heavy pressure as well, including a season high 4 sacks and fumbling twice, although he did recover both of those. A lot of the protection kind of stalled a lot of their drives, which is why we're looking at a game that was 20-17 when we've seen, I think, Matthew Stafford threw 46 touchdowns this year. And we know how many receptions Puka Nacua has had, and Devontae Smith is always down there in the red zone when it comes down to it. So that was a little bit of a eye-opening for them. But again, I think the weather really had an impact on them. But all in all, I want to give props to the rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams. A lot of people were ready to call him a bust after last year, and I think he had a really decent year. It shows promise. It shows, again, like I said last week, coaching matters. Seems like Ben Johnson and him are going to be a good match, and I think they're a little ahead of schedule. They did beat some teams this year, maybe not convincingly, but you win the game. That's all that matters. So I'm really interested to see how they'll be next year. Last stat on Kyren Williams, he had 117 scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns, which was 34% of the Rams' total yards. And then, of course, the kicker, Harrison Mavis, with the overtime field goal after the Caleb Williams interception to seal the game for them. So congratulations to the NFC, the Rams, but they will now be traveling back across the country and back towards the NFC West, where they will meet with the Seattle Seahawks for the third time this year. That's also going to be a very interesting game. You know how division games go. We know Sam Darnold, sometimes he's ghost when he plays against the Los Angeles Rams, even though I think he played pretty well in their last game, but it's going to be very interesting. So championship Sunday, the AFC Championship, the Denver Broncos will host the New England Patriots on Sunday at 3:00. And the Seattle Seahawks will host the Los Angeles Rams at 6:30.
All right, from the Finals of the Association, right, what's been going on with the Washington Wizards?
Back to the projects. The Wizards, they've dropped their last 7 games after a unsuccessful West Coast road trip last week. They went out to Phoenix, LA to face the Clippers, Sacramento, and Denver, and dropped all those games and returned home yesterday and lost a close one to the Clippers as well. They're reeling right now, man, and it's tough to watch, honestly. But there've been a few bright spots. Alex Sarr and Keyshawn George, they played well during the road trip, but unfortunately the team wasn't able to come out with the win. And the last 2 games against the Clippers and the Nuggets, they were kind of right there in the end, but in both games they just kind of allowed one player to really put their lights out. In the Clippers game, it was James Harden. He had finished with 36 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds, sniffing a triple-double. They just couldn't guard him without fouling. They sent him to the line 20 times. He made 18 of those free throws. And against the Nuggets, Jamal Murray just went nuts, 15-24 from the field, 42 points. That's just target practice right there, man. And also Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench. He was 10 for 18 for 30 points and 5-11 from 3. You just got to put up more defensive resistance. Typically it's it's opposite players on the inside doing that type of damage. But those 2 games they just got bombed from the perimeter. So they got some things to figure out. We seen what kind of season they're having, and it's the snowball just continues to get out of control. We know what their draft situation is. They have a protected pick, but they got to find some continuity and find some things to build on. They will be back in action on Thursday at home against Denver. Then they'll be back on the road against Charlotte, and they'll be back at home next Tuesday against the Portland Trail Blazers.
All right, Cardo, over to college basketball, where there's been quite a bit happening. Uh, the floor is yours.
Yeah, actually, big rivalry game went down last night. Since you brought it up, Battle of the Georgias, crosstown rivalry that goes back decades. Through their time, obviously being in the A10 now and prior in the CAA. Um, George Washington hit the road and with the George Mason, to face the still hot George Mason, 17-1 going into the game. George Washington came in at 12-6, and in rivalry games, obviously conference play records don't matter. You got to come to play every game, and that's kind of what happened. In this game, it was a back and forth affair to late, but clutch plays from Riley Allen Sparks, George Mason center, who I think will be an all-conference selection. It's just a matter of which team. And Corey Messi from George Mason as well. I think he'll be an all-conference selection. Again, just matter of which team and how they finish the season. They lifted the Patriots to their 9th straight win over GW and improved the 18-1 overall, 6-0 in Atlantic play with the 69-64 win. Allen Sparks tied for a game-high 18 points to go with 12 rebounds, while Messi added 13.6 boards and 4 assists. Senior swingman beside Troutman chipped in 14 points for the Patriots. George Washington was led by Garrett Johnson's 18 points. Rafael Castro, who's right there with Allen Sparks battling for top big in the league. He had a strong game for George Washington with 17 points and 12 rebounds. Trey Autry added 12 points. But if you want to catch the full breakdown how everything unfolded, just check them all new episode of All Around, which is airing obviously on the Focus channel, on Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, or you can get over to findersmade.com and check it out.
All right, go ahead and move gears over to Maryland basketball real quick. Talked to you guys last week before they headed out on the road. Told you guys they were going out west, and they did do that. They did go. They did do that. They did go out west, and they split those games. We'll have the game that went well up on the screen for the moment, but their first game was they took on USC. They pulled that one out 62-55, and all of that was because of their defense. Talk about their defense over time this year. In this game, it traveled well, and it got them a tough win across the country. Kendall Walker got to the line 10 times and hit 9 of her free throws. As a team, Maryland got to the line 26 times and hit 22 of them. But this one, it was a back and forth affair for much of the game. It was just Maryland's ability to get to the charity stripe, coupled with their defense. To what end in terms of their defense? They held USC to 28% shooting from the floor and 16% from deep. That was Maryland's second ever win over USC, with the first coming back in 1988. In their second game out west, Maryland would lose to UCLA 97-67. The Bruins got off to a great start. They pulled away for good in the third quarter. They started the period on a 10-2 run, the third period, that is. The Bruins had 5 players scoring double figures, led by Gabriela Jaquez with 22 points. They did it by dominating the glass. The Terps are a very good rebounding team. Well, against UCLA, they lost on the glass 20 plus, and credit to UCLA for that. Anytime you're up 20 on the glass, it usually leads to good things for whatever team that is. It played a huge role into the Terps losing their third game of the year, and all of their losses have come in conference play. So they're now 17-3 on the year, 5-3 in conference play. They have now fallen to 15th in the rankings. And like the Wizards, who returned from home from out west earlier this week, Maryland returns to host 10th ranked Iowa Thursday at 6 p.m. at Xfinity. So, be in the building for that. I look forward to see if Maryland can get back. Maryland's able to get back on the winning side of things, because you never want to drop too many conference plays. It makes the end of the year conference games. It makes the end of the year real interesting sometimes in the worst way possible. Cardell, what'd you have for us tonight in terms of take it or leave it in rapid fire?
Yeah, we're gonna start on take it or leave it side. A very interesting story happened on college football side of things, and I want to have a discussion with you guys about. Duke University sued quarterback Darian Mensah today, and the judge denied a request for a temporary restraining order that would have prevented him from entering the transfer portal. Darren Heitner, Mensah's attorney, told ESPN that Durham County, North Carolina Superior Court Judge Michael O. I'm not even about to try to pronounce this. Ruled from the bench Tuesday pending a written ruling and denied Duke's request that Mensah be enjoined from entering the transfer portal. Heitner said Duke is expected to enter Mensah in the transfer portal on Wednesday. Quote, the judge at Duke basketball sees a ticket holder and thus a booster also recused himself from future proceedings, Heitner said. As a result, a different judge, Ed Wilson, will rule on Duke's request for relief that would prevent Mensah from enrolling at another school, playing at another school, and licensing his name, image, and likeness to another school. Heitner said Wilson is scheduled to hear the case on February 2nd, but Mensah's team will push to move the date sooner. Mensah informed Duke coach Manny Diaz that he intended to transfer on Friday, the last day of the transfer portal window, under the terms, and this is important, under the terms of Duke's NIL contract with Mensah. Any disputes must be settled through arbitration. The school said it filed a claim for arbitration on Monday and wants the judge to issue relief until the end of the arbitration process. Mensah, who led the Blue Devils to a 9-5 record and ACC title this past season, announced December 19th that he intended to return to Duke this coming season instead of entering the NFL draft. He had a multi-year NIL contract with Duke, which expires December 31st. Like I said, multi-year NIL contract that expires December 31st. That was believed to be worth up to $4 million for the upcoming season. Quote, Mensah reversed course, informed Duke that he would seek a transfer and issued a public farewell. The lawsuit said. In doing so, he repudiated the contract. He proposes now to move on to another collegiate institution, act as if his obligations to Duke University do not exist. None of these facts can be disputed, but contracts mean something. Mensah, who started his college career at Tulane, has been linked to Miami, which is seeking a successor for quarterback Carson Beck. The number 10 Hurricanes lost to number 1 Indiana, and Monday's obviously National College Football Playoff National Championship. And the sign that Miami has secured a quarterback for 2026 backup Henry Williams told ESPN on Tuesday that he has entered the transfer portal. He's expected to go to East Carolina. Quote, if Mensah is permitted to continue his course of ignoring his contractual obligations and transfer to another school to compete in football and license his NIL rights to that school, Duke University will have no ability to protect its rights in the arbitral proceeding, the lawsuit said. Indeed, those rights will be practically worthless if Mensah is allowed to enroll at another collegiate institution, play football there, and relicense his rights. If allowed to enter the portal, Mensah can, within less than a day, do precisely this. In other words, unless the present position of the parties is preserved, Duke University's ability to seek relief is limited. Octavia, I'm going to start with you. Just what are your thoughts on this entire situation? I know it's a lot to weigh. But as we can see, it's starting to become very, very about the business with this NIL stuff.
Yeah, it's the wild, wild west out here. That's a lot going on. I vaguely heard the story earlier today. I honestly don't know if I would take it or leave it. I feel like I'm more so on the side of taking it for the player because like these institutions have profited off of these players for however long. The NCAA hasn't really put any set rules in place, which is why we're seeing crazy things like this happen now. But then I also get it from the other side where contractually you're supposed to be here. Like that was the whole deal. And it goes back to like a lot of like, I mean, you got to think about it. These are kids, like they're kids. And do you hold them to their word? You know, do you say like, hey, you said that you were going to do this. This is what you should do. When we know we don't hold coaches to their word because they sign contracts and they get out of them and they leave, you know? So it's like back and forth on that. But then I'm looking at it from the university's viewpoint. Why would you want to hold somebody hostage anyway? Like to a certain degree, it's like I get it for the financial portion of it and the contracts and all that stuff, but if you were to win this whole battle, you're basically forcing this person to stay and play quarterback for you against their will. You know, it goes back to Mike Tomlin, like, I don't want hostages. Like, I don't want people who don't want to be here. And obviously he doesn't want to be here. So I think this is super interesting. I'm really interested to see how it's going to play out, because I honestly have no idea. But a lot of the things that they said is, you know, that they won't be able to, you know, do the arbitration if he's able to enter into the draft portal, the transfer portal, and they say he can do that in half a day, and we know how fast that works. So I'm sure there are a lot of people behind the scenes that are probably trying to help the young man get other places. There are people behind the scenes trying to help the university. I thought the judge probably should have recused himself before he made a decision, but neither here nor there. If you're a season ticket holder for Duke, that's definitely a conflict of interest, but I'm glad he recused himself after the fact. But yeah, I'm like on the, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, to be fair.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. You know, I see it from both angles, but at the same time, at some point, words got to mean something. You know, if everybody's just gonna be doing things on a whim or on how they feel when they woke up that morning, and like, what's the point of any of it? You know, he said he was returning, then all of a sudden he wants to explore other options. Like, what? I mean, what's the point of even starting that process if at any time you can just say, hey, I want to do something else now? But to Octavia's point, I mean, you holding the guy hostage I don't think that's gonna yield any positive results either. But yeah, this is kind of crazy, and yeah, good luck to them. Hope it works out. But yeah, I've never been a fan of any of this from the beginning. You know, people just allowed to hop around at will, but you know, that's the world we're in, and everybody that's involved, I hope you got a lot of patience, and yeah, man, whatever decision you make, you got to live with it.
Boss.
I just think it's hilarious. This is what everybody wanted. We're here now, and if it's really truly big business, Duke, and then on the player side too, nobody, like, neither one of you decided, like, thought that maybe during that, you know, those contract talks, that a buyout clause should maybe be in an exit clause or something should be a part of these documents. Duke, you kind of, like, I get the idea from business standpoints. It's kind of smart, but hard to enforce that. You can hit the we have your rights, so even if you leave, we maintain your rights. So, like, why would you really want to leave? Somebody wants to go bad enough, you already paid him. Like, if he turned down the draft, like, in his case, I don't know how much the kid cares about money per se. If he can raise his draft stock, but again, you kind of, it looks like you're in there and you're using it, you know, for the irreparable harm. Because why would you want to leave if we have your rights? These kids are these kids. They want to go. They want to go. More importantly, when you're sitting down to have those talks with these kids, I got to make sure there's clarity, because it's murky on both sides. It shouldn't be, but this is what all y'all wanted. This is what we're here. We're here being a part of and watching all this nonsense as is. It's just silly. It's all types of silliness. Yeah, I wish it was. This is why I wasn't a fan of it. I don't think anybody here was a big fan of it as soon as this stuff started getting crazier, because here we are. Now, how are you going to enforce things? So this might lead to some type of precedent, and now there's going to be specific font language for exit clause, buyout clauses, transfer things, whatever it may be, or do your rights expire as soon as you transfer? All this other different type of stuff. I just wish we weren't here, but I guess I'll take it. That's what everybody wanted. So.
Yeah, for me, I understand both sides, but I think this is more of a failure on his team, the young man's team, for not clearly letting him know what the hell he was signing. And this is the negative part of this is the negative part of the NIL. With how nasty it's gotten, it's about to be vicious business dealings, like vicious consequences for these some young. I ain't even about to say they all young. Some are grown ass people just staying around to get extra checks. They know exactly what they're doing, but there's going to be consequences when you don't honor contracts, which is what happens in real life and adulthood if you're a professional, especially if you're a professional athlete. There are guidelines. They're big bold letters and paragraphs and stuff. Then there are little letters and paragraphs that you must read. And typically those little letters and paragraphs are the most strongest things in your contract that you better pay attention to. Because it's usually the things that they trying to hide, but they got to put it in there where we can get out this thing. Or we can sue you if you do this thing. And oftentimes, especially, just keeping real, minority athletes, just ignore that. They looking at the immediate gain, the money and stuff like that. Yeah, let me hurry up and sign. And you totally ignoring that. And that's why his team, I don't know if it's his agent, lawyer, parents, whoever, all of them, read all of that before you sign and understand what it is. You sign a multi-year deal. They have the right to come after you if you don't honor that deal. And it makes it look worse on his behalf because you entered the portal on the absolute last day. So it makes it look very shaky on what you was doing. And ironically, it's rumors you going to Miami when they already had advanced to the national championship. Go figure. And they need a quarterback. Go figure. So we know what time it is, man. So you wasn't even smart enough to hide your hand. You know what I mean? Like you knew what you're doing, and that's the nastiness that's going around. But this is also an example of what I feel like is about to come in all sports, basketball, football, whatever you want to call it. Where yeah, schools are going to legally start coming after kids, and then it won't be so fun no more because they're not. I get coaches up and leave and all that stuff like that, and that's not right. You leave kids hanging. You promise you'll be there and all that. I get, but two wrongs never make a right, man. And we trying to raise the young people to be better, right? You know what I mean? So this is part of the lesson. Like I'm tired of I'm tired of people using what other people do to justify them doing the same type of grimy stuff. It doesn't work like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You know right from wrong. You knew what was in that contract. You should have known. So this is what comes from it when you don't honor it, and it's going to be nasty. Now y'all say you got hold them against his will. Well, guess what, homie? You probably gonna have to deal with that if you make it to the pros anyway. It's a whole lot of players that get held against their will and they don't want to be with their teams. Guess what? They got to show up and go to work. That's what college is supposed to be about, preparing you for the real world. So no, you can't keep using this thing. I love when people use like their kids when it's convenient. Because they probably sympathize more with the kids side because they got a kid in the game, so to speak, rather than high school and college. So they looking at it from that point of view. Well, I'm the type where get in other people's shoes, get in the coach's shoes for a second, get in their teammates' shoes for a second, get in all this, man. You see what I'm saying? So, it's just nasty out here, and this is what happens when everything becomes transactional. And believe me, I'm a former college player. I believe players should get paid because we couldn't, at least legally. I'm not going to get too deep into that. We know certain players, we know what happened under the table. But, a lot of people my age just wish we could have got a little extra bread for what we did and all this stuff, especially for how hard you work in the classroom, on court, the field, or whatever sports you play. But regardless, even if we could, there would have been guidelines we would have had to honor. And even without getting paid, there were guidelines we had to honor once you sign on the scholarship or whatever. Or, once you sign, there got a lot of guidelines you got to honor as far as, representing the institution, the program the right way or whatnot, or your ass is gone. And you can't do nothing. So I think this is just a life lesson, and it better be a wake-up call for a lot of student athletes and their families. Like, look, read the fine print, know what you're signing, and then, man, have some integrity and honor that. Because he knew what makes his thing look even more shaky, you sign a multi-year deal. Most of the time, it's just like 1 year type of deal. We're just gonna do it for this year, and we'll revisit it after the season. You sign a multi-year deal. So how did you? And you had a hell of a season. So how did you all of a sudden fall out of love? On the last day of the transfer portal, it's not adding up. So now it's going to court, where the judge is going to look at all of this. It ain't. You know what I mean? It's looking shaky, though. That's all I'm saying. It's looking shaky. Now it's a legal proceeding, and it's going to set precedent. Quiet as kept is going to set precedent, because if the school wins, what you think other schools are going to do?
He gonna have a law named after him. Like, I don't know, the Mensa rule. He gonna rule named after him. Mensa versus Duke.
That's what I'm saying. Duke got long money and some elite lawyers. Your little NIL money will run out real quick, man.
They're probably petty enough to drag it down.
Hey, that's what I mean. You want y'all getting where I'm going. Exactly. Y'all starting to feel
they're like, I can do it all day.
All of a sudden, hey, I'm coming back.
The lawyer like, I can pay $600 an hour. I'm good.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like, I'm back, dog. Oh yeah, I bet you back.
I'm just saying, why did you choose Miami, dude? Like, they're in the ACC. Like, you failed on so many fronts down this line of thinking.
Exactly, man. Like,
the day after the championship, it hasn't been 24 hours. Like 12 hours after the championship, I'm trying to get to Miami.
No. Remember, was it Endgame or was it the Infinity Wars where Thanos stepped to Gamora and was like, you weren't a good liar. Like, I never taught you that because you weren't good at lying or something like that. Like, he checked her when she tried to lie. He's like, you're so bad at it because it's something I didn't teach you. That's why you're so bad at it. That's what I feel about a lot of these youngins, man. Like, y'all trying to be grimy and move in a grimy way, but y'all not built that way. Y'all don't even think it all the way through. Man. Like, all right, if I do this, it's like, y'all not good at it. So that's why I was like, you jam yourself up, man. And it looks stupid, man. And you playing a dangerous game with people who are adults, been through this situation, this scenario many times over. They do it for a living, and now they about to come at your head, and then it's not gonna be fun no more. And you're gonna realize how real it is. And that's why I'm like, why even play this game? When you make a commitment, and this is how I was raised as a man. When you give your word, if you make a commitment, honor that, man, or you should be respected as a man. And that's just how I was raised. So if you can't be respected as a man, what do you have? Because your word is your bond.
Right, yeah.
So you sign that multi-year deal. All of that, dog. Like, what? And you really think they're gonna be cool with you going to a team in the conference that just played in the national championship game, so you can come back and murder them after they agreed to a multi-year deal, invested $4 million a year to you? Come on, man. That don't even sound. They wouldn't even think about doing nothing like that in the pros or something like that. Yeah, man. Hey, Giannis. Hey, go play with the Knicks because you just want to, and come back and kick out butt in Milwaukee for the next 5 to 10 years. We're cool with that. Hell no, it's gonna be all types of legal procedures. It's gonna be hell, man. And anybody will tell you don't want to be up in the courtroom time and time again, man. Lawyers cost, legal fees are a mother. All of a sudden, that $4 million, which ain't $4 million after taxes, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, the thing it goes by quick, unless you got some parents with big money and stuff like that. And even then, this is an unnecessary hassle that they did not plan for, even if they do have money. And why are we in this situation? Because you just want to jump ship and go to this team because they was in the national champ. Like, that's what it looks like. What's the real reason why you want to do this? Man, if you don't take your ass back to Duke and play, bro, and you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And this should be an example for a lot of these kids, because I get the coaches have moved grimy throughout time. I get it. But some of these kids been ruthless, man. Oh, my Lord Jesus, man. It's been bad out here. You see what I'm saying? So what are we raising? And these are the kids that's going to be in the workforce.
Lord Jesus.
So what we raising out here, man? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, you called me about I'm quitting, dog. I'm going to another job. You called me about being late. I was a little sleepy last night. Like, how you gonna? What gives you the right to call me for being late? That's what we gonna have. I'm going to a new job, and they really think that's gonna slide until they realize, man. They look at their resume like, man, you've been at like 5 different jobs in the last 5 months. Now you can't get employment. Now you asked out, and this shit ain't funny no more. And these are the lessons that these youngers need to learn. And some of them, yeah, sometimes the example need to be made where it's like, yeah, I ain't doing that. Damn, that shit. Yeah, I ain't going down that road. You saw what happened to homie and Duke? Yeah, and let me go y'all the contract. Y'all can go though, man. I ain't even gonna touch that. So that's just where I'm at, man. You know, look, I get it, but my man, you ain't even think this out at all. Like this is terrible, bro. Like, man, you robbed the bank with no mask, bro. Just let everybody see.
While going live.
Yeah, fans
live.
Camera phones out, dog. You up here looking like you
on the address and everything.
The bags on your back. You know what I'm saying? Creeping like my man from Menace to Society that being on the hood with dude with the bald head, the little funny.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obvious, bro. Just obvious. You know what I'm saying? It's just bad, man. So yeah, we're gonna see how it play out, man. Because I think it's gonna set precedent if Duke get them. Like, yeah. Gonna shut a lot of stuff down.
My man tried to do this in conference.
In conference, bro. Can't make this stuff up, man. Going on the NBA side, take it or leave it, man. Tough situation. Oh yeah, we still on take it or leave it. Jimmy Butler, man, left the Warriors game against the Heat on Monday night, coming down awkwardly while catching the pass from guard Brandon Podziemski and getting bumped by Miami guard Davion Mitchell while in the air. He exited the game, was up to the locker room by Warriors teammates Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga. He grabbed his right knee following the play. The ruling came out, torn ACL, man. You know, the simple question for you guys, should they blow this thing up with the Warriors or keep trying to add pieces and build around his aging core? Ray, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, it's about that time, man. I think 2022 kind of gave them a false sense of reality in regards to where they stood as a franchise. You got that one, it's cool, but yeah, move on. Steph is out. Steph is pushing 40. You know, Draymond is all but useless at this point. We just seen what happened with Jimmy Butler. It's time. All good things come to an end, man. You had your run. You got some jewelry. Just go ahead and ride off into the sunset and start over.
Wilson.
Inject those Cedo cut.
Big black button. Time for that big black button.
They whatever color button stuff wants to cut the button to be. Hit the button, man. You had a good run, bro. Get the hell out of there and enjoy the last bit of time you have left. You don't need to go out like this. And leave you know who right there. You leave that man right there. Don't you dare. Don't put him in your backpack again. Leave him right there. Leave the backpack and go to state. You take yourself and your family and you save yourself. Just leave, man. It's time, dog. Like just go. Obviously it sucks for Jimmy Butler suffer that type of injury this late in his career, but all the lack of movement, the holding pattern the Warriors have been in, you end up here about like this was always like a worst case scenario that nobody ever wanted to happen was if one of the main guys goes down. Like there's nothing left underneath it. Like there's not any depth anywhere, anything like that. It's held together by very, very old duct tape and bands. So the duct tape just went down. Bands is still cool. See what you can get for the bands and just go back to being the Warriors of old. It's okay. You got a lot of practice in it. It's fine. But yeah, hit the button. Blow up, don't spill coffee on the console. Just blow it all the hell.
Octavia. GM Octavia, what you going to do?
It's so many storylines from this one situation. It's one, I will always say, and I don't wish injury on anybody, nobody. But karma don't never miss. Jimmy did all that hooping and hollering on his way up out of Miami towards ACL playing against the Miami Heat. I'm just saying. They did all that hooping and hollering to get Klay Thompson out. Klay like, I think I might got a better shot over here once Dallas gets it together. You know, they got some injuries and stuff. So like, and then lastly, my man, whoever he was that sent the email to the GM, he like, God damn, like I was asking about Jimmy. Now my man, I was like, it's so many storylines happening at this point. He's like, he probably already sent the email, like, so what you gonna do now? like, come on, bro. So yeah, y'all already said it. Blow it up, let it go. I would hate for stuff to go out like this. They're old. Like we said, they were old when Jimmy got there, and they kept adding more old pieces. I love Al Horford. He old. Like Draymond's old, and the one that's young he's disgruntled. He's trying to get up out of there. You know, now you're looking here. You got 2 weeks before the trade deadline, and you're like, well, hey Jonathan, so what we was talking about, you don't really want to leave, right? You know, so now you got to backtrack everything, all because one player got hurt. So there's so many storylines that come out of this. I'm going to take it that they need to blow up this and move forward, however that is. If Steph wants to ride off in the sunset and go to state, let him do so, but don't let him go out like this. Like that's gonna be sad.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like it's time, dog. Like, and the crazy part, I've been watching Steve Kerr closely this season. He looks at peace with her. He's in the last year of his deal. He's just like, it's gonna be what it is.
He look like he don't care. Bob,
I'm not stressing me out, bro.
Bob, he at home too. Like, shit, I bet I'm about it too.
Hey, bro, you know it's Idris Elba on the wire. They call him in the warehouse. Get on with him, up. That's where they at with. Let's get on with it. Like, let's go. You ain't even. It is what it is. It's bad, man. Like we ain't. Yeah, that's their worst nightmare. That happening to one of them. Yeah, it is. Woof, this is. And the thing about the Steph thing, I think you hear all the legends kind of talk about it. If you hang on too long, either you're gonna get pushed out the league, or you're gonna be around where on a team where it's just like, yeah, this ain't even worth it no more, dog. It usually ends that way. It's very few that ride off into the sunset on top, man. Very few. You know what I mean? And that's why you don't want to be one of those guys that stay around too long. And still playing at a high level, but this team ain't going nowhere, especially in the West, dog. They can talk all that they want, man. And you're right. Disgruntled player that could have helped. Who knows what's going on? Man, we no one knows, man. I'm not even gonna speculate on that. He's clearly talented as hell because he started the season when they got off to the strong start. He was balling, starting on that. All of a sudden, he just ain't playing no more. You know what? I'm not even gonna watch my. But yeah, it's just time. Like and I think the old GM Bob. This is why he got out. He knew he was gonna have to make some ugly, tough decisions, and he couldn't do it. Like it's, and you could tell that's the hooper in him. Like I got too much love for these guys. I'm out. Let me just bow out, dog. Like before it get nasty, man. And then that's where it's at, man. And I think they kept trying to put band-aids on the rosters instead of like on wounds that needed stitches. And what I mean by that, like going out against some young wolves where you got to develop them to be ready for now. And if we're gonna be real, which we are on this show, they drafted a lot of promising, talented prospects that didn't develop. And they and the players sometimes get a bad rap. Nah, man, it's on a franchise. It's on the franchise to develop. Like look at OKC. It wasn't 2-3 years ago. They were lottery, right? They were in the lottery, but they had a lot of these young pieces. They were developing them. All of a sudden, they took a leap. They get to the playoffs. Next thing you know, they champions. It's development. You gotta ride with and even with the veteran core, you gotta give up something to gain something. So you gotta be patient, let them learn, play through their mistakes a little bit, so they can be ready now. As you on the other side, you can't do it no more. They're ready to carry that load, and that's the gap that they missed. That's the transition that went wrong, and they find themselves in a position where they basically got to start all the way over, man. And like right in real time. I can't believe I'm bringing up Boston. Tatum goes down. They trade everybody.
I was about to go
there. Yeah, they trade everybody. It's like, damn, they got lottery. Like, nah, they added the right piece. Some youngin, man, just go get him inexpensive. Man, at the top of the East, dog. Still holding Jaylen Brown playing at the MVP level, like holding it down. Like, Tatum, when you ready, dog, we here. We ain't going nowhere. And see, that's just a sign of development, scouting, and coaching. You gotta have all of it going on. Something on the Warriors side broke down, and you gotta look at that player. No disrespect, you gotta look at that player development thing because it's been years. James Wiseman was talented. I don't care what nobody said. That brother was talented as a mother. There's no way a kid that tall, that athletic, you can't be used for, dog. And you know, they said he couldn't get the system. You know, certain players couldn't get the system or whatnot. Dumb down the system to help these players, man.
You change the system.
Sometimes you got to change it, bro. You know what I'm saying? If that veteran core is that great, they can adapt and simplify this stuff so they can help these youngins until they're ready to come around. It is what it is. Like, what is being said right now about basketball? Young American players don't know how to play basketball. They don't know how to do simple stuff. You see what I'm saying? So clearly this just ain't happened last year or overnight. This has been a thing that's been trending for years. They just so happened to make it to the league, and they were kind of in the first wave where it was like, yeah, man, you could just say it was him. But as we see now, it's a whole generation of players that don't know how to play basketball, have talent, but they don't know how to play. And that's a part of development. And it's sad. So you got to give these kids more grace when they get to the league and more room to grow because, yeah, they're behind in a lot of areas. And you know they're talented. You know what I'm saying? They hide behind the offensive skill and the offensive talent, but they don't know how to think the game. They don't know how to defend. They don't know how to rebound. They don't know how to make the right reads. It's the other stuff that is needed and most important to win, and they don't have that. So, you know, the Warriors got to take some blame with this too because, yeah, man, and all the young players, none of them paying out. Like, none of them. Something going on. Something going on, dog. Like, it's just call it what it is, man. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. But I agree with y'all. It's that time, man. One more question. We're gonna get up out of here. Oh boy, so much petty going on both sides. Where would I go, man? Oh man. Nah, I don't want to piss Wilson off with his Knicks. Are we gonna stay on the NFL side? Kevin Stefanski. You know what?
That's not his Knicks. You still a Knicks fan?
Hey, man, it's bad over there in New York. I don't want them at our head, man. I'm going to leave that alone. I saw how they got it at me.
I gave that up years ago, so I would never have to deal with the feelings that those sad people are dealing with right now. Do you understand that I am much happier being a United fan, watching The Walking Dead take that belt, than being a Knicks fan right now? I did the right thing. I do not regret.
Okay, cool. Well, since you're not a Knicks fan, just a month ago, the Knicks were 18-7 and celebrating the winning NBA Cup. Then put up the banner, of course. But a couple weeks ago, James Dolan proclaimed that he wants his team to get to the finals, and we should win the finals on New York radio. The team improved to 23-9 at that point. Ever since, the Knicks have gone 2-9, having lost 4 straight, and they got booed by their own fans last night when they lost to a shorthanded Dallas team. Didn't lose them, got blew out. The Knicks look like they're searching for all the help they can get. Jalen Brunson called a team-only meeting, according to Ramona Shelburne of ESPN. Brunson's message was that the Knicks needed to find answers for their poor play in January among themselves rather than looking to the coaching staff for solutions, which ties to the bigger concern. This team has yet to fully buy into what new coach Mike Brown is selling, according to Ian Begley of SNY TV. Players haven't fully bought into their roles under head coach Mike Brown. Those reasons are cited often when you talk to people about the Knicks' flaws. Now, these issues aren't unique to this year's team. They existed to a degree in the locker room last season, but the Knicks' coaching change has rooted them out. The firing Tom Thibodeau and hiring Brown was never going to cure all that ailed the Knicks, but the move definitely raised the stakes for New York. Brown has opened up the offense, and it's a little better this season, but the defense has been a little worse. And with that, these Knicks are worse than a year ago. Not connecting with his players is partially on Brown, but there's plenty of blame to go around for how this team looks. Lost both of the players and the front office. Brown, however, is the key variable, and at what's being discussed a lot now is the Browns' recent post-game hug with Draymond Green, who had picked up a technical for tripping Karl-Anthony Towns during the game. That did not sit well with the players, as reports say. Quote, from what I understand, that did not land well with a lot of folks here in New York in the locker room or even in the organization. While you can understand why he might have a bond with Draymond Green, obviously, I don't think that landed well, especially in the middle of a losing streak. Wilson. Yeah, man, you know, you the last one standing, man. Just what's your thoughts on these? Hey, last year was on Thibodeau, man. You know,
Hey, man, they deserve everything they get. Some places just aren't destined to win. That is their lot in life. They just don't deserve it. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. Like, yeah, they try to make it Tibbs' fault. Nah, man, and people don't want to play the way the coaches talk about. They just don't. They don't want to do it. Both Thibodeau and Mike Brown come from a strong belief system of play defense, and we're gonna be okay. Play defense, we'll be all right. But they don't want to hear that part of the message. But they're kind of receptive to opening up the offense so other people can shoot. Ah, man, that's on them. That's what they wanted. You know, to keep the same energy with the power of friendship with all the Nova kids on the team or whatever that crap is. Like, that's just, it's not a good team. It wasn't on Tibbs. It's not on Mike Brown. Break that crap up. But you're the Knicks, so just wallow in it. And the kiss of death was Dolan uttering out of whatever hole he crowed out of to say something about winning is crazy. Like, y'all don't even know what that is. Like, stop. My entire life, all y'all do is lose. That's why I stopped. Like, I don't know why the Knicks fans keep. You don't have to. You can just stop. You can find something else to do with that time. But nah, man, that's crazy. And you get mad about the Draymond Green thing. Yeah, they won something together. That was probably like a brief moment in time. Mike Brown would never get back this year. He sees y'all every day. That was a happy moment. And like, think about it. Y'all get on that man's nerves so much, he's happy to see Draymond Green.
You probably gave him more headaches.
He was happy to see Draymond Green because of y'all. That list is really short, man. Like, it's y'all, man. Y'all had two of the better defense. Like, wherever Mike Brown's been coaching wise, we never question that end of the floor. Same thing for Tibbs. But this group, you know, with the core of this group, y'all found a way where both of these dudes don't know what they doing there. Nah, man, y'all deserve all that. New York, y'all enjoy that.
I'll tell you.
It's kind of sad. First of all, this picture is crazy. Just in the midst of all of this. But yeah, like, I mean, the game yesterday was just wild. I kind of maybe would have thought, like, if Cooper flag went off or something. I mean, they was letting Max Christie Max Christie, I think they say
Kobe. Kobe out there.
I think they said Max Christie. I said Crispy. Matt Christie tied like the most threes in a game at the Madison Garden, like second or something like that. He had like 9 threes, bro. I was like, so don't nobody want to breathe on him? Like nothing. Najee Marshall looked like he should have been a first. Like, I don't know if he's a first round pick, but whatever. He looked like he should be in the All-Star game, and I don't know. It was really tough to watch, and it can't, like, we talk about a lot of times when this stuff happens with teams where you're kind of like, we don't know what's going on. They got the talent, they got this, they got that, and it always goes down to the coach. It's got to be the coach. We got to replace the coach. That's the easiest person to move. Y'all did that already. So now what? It can't always be the coach. And these player only means, I think they had like they tried to have like their own little player huddle on the bench during the game too. Yeah, that ain't do nothing either. Congratulations on winning the NBA Cup, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people, especially before going into this year, you know, they was talking like you said, James Dolan, like, we should get to the finals, we should win. It don't look good. It don't look good. And I think he's a good player. I don't know how much longer I can take Cat. I don't know how much more I could take the I don't know what it is. To watch him consistently knee Dwight Powell for like 17 times in the game because he just be like sprawled out and just doing whatever he want, and then he come back and then he get dumb fouls. I think they said he's leading the league in offensive fouls this year. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? It's crazy. I don't know. Julius Randle somewhere like, God damn, I'm so glad I got out of there. Like, and the other Nova boy, Dante DiVincenzo, he like, I'm good over here in Minnesota, bro. It's nice over here. Aunt treat me nice. You know, me and Julius, we go out to dinner. Like, you know, like Rudy, he's okay. Like, what the like life come at you fast, bro. That's all I can say.
Najee Marshall was undrafted, by the way. Raymond.
There we go.
Oh man, yeah. This is going to get worse before it gets better, and yeah, I don't know, man. They won top of the world after going to the conference finals a couple years ago. We're a long ways from that. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. They overthought themselves with this coaching change. You know, Mike Brown, I'm sure he wouldn't mind being fired at the end of this year. Let me go home and collect this money. Because yeah, this is a shit show. Yeah, it's bad up there, man. And in related but unrelated topic, we need to stop these elaborate celebrations for winning the NBA Cup. Like, that's foolishness.
The confetti is crazy.
But yeah, man, the Knicks going Nick.
It's crazy. Like I literally was just thinking how bad we talk about like cities, like how Detroit, like all their teams are bad for so long, and all this. Y'all think like how bad New York sports teams are, like as a whole, like all of them, like, and it's been a while. I was like, the Knicks is bad, the Giants is bad, the Jets is bad. They talk about the Dodgers like not the Dodgers, the Yankees like a dog every time they lose in the playoffs. Like, oh my God. I don't even know what they hockey team look like, so don't give me the line.
So that NBA Cup thing, that thing might be jinx, man. Think about it. When the Lakers won that thing, it got bad. Milwaukee beat the Thunder that went on to win the championship, and we all know what happened in Milwaukee. They still ain't right. You know how that. New York just the wrong city, man. New York just the wrong city to be tripping like this, man. It's just wrong. And the ironic thing I'm looking at with Mike Brown, that was probably more ownership type stuff, you know, when he got let out of Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you got to be like Tibbs and be stubborn. Like, y'all gonna do this? I want to hit it. Y'all gonna defend, man? Because you give these motherfucking ropes any rope, man. They just abuse it. They just abuse it, man. So you gotta be more of an a-hole, man, to really get through to them. So they do what's necessary. And for the Knicks, they think their identity is on the offensive end of the floor. Y'all got a lot of fire. It's the defense, man. This is the defense, dog. I don't know why this era is trying to get away from the defensive end. It's just they really try hard. They act like defense don't matter no more. Even though the team y'all are chasing beat the brakes off y'all last year, leading with defense, had a historical defense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you can look through the history of the game. Champions had great defenses, man. It's not one team that had a mediocre or trash defense that went on the way. You can't do it. Because you're going to get exposed, especially when the playoffs come, especially over a 7-game series. So all this little team meeting and stuff like that, man, that John Aaron, the dudes got to do what they got to do, man. And start complaining. Otherwise, a lot of these players won't be on this team moving forward. This ain't the time to be doing this, man, especially this tax haven era, dog. Dudes disappear. It just happens like that, man. But they better fix it, man, because it's a shame, dog, because this supposed to be y'all chance. Tatum ain't here. Giannis' team ain't where it need to be, dog. Philly still trying to figure it out, even though they managed to win a few games and kind of be in the mix and stuff like that. You got a bunch of young teams trying to figure it out. Orlando trying to get it right, man. Boston's won't you got a chance. Indiana, no Halliburton. You see what happened with him. Like you got a chance because when the East does get healthy, it's a wrap. And then that's when they're gonna blow that whole thing up, and people ain't gonna be there. And then it's just gonna be a whole bunch of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't even wait that long. I'll just blow it up now. I got time for this. Because it's a golden opportunity, and you ruined it. So get out of here. All y'all, take the power of friendship and get the hell out the city. Everybody go. Because you ain't do nothing with it. Like, legit. The East, it's bro, this is like, this is worse than when, what's it called? At least when, what's it called? When Jordan was gone them years, that'd be like if the Knicks didn't make the playoffs in the years. Like, you ain't even try to gain any ground there while he was gone. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot, the Cavs not even good.
And
I just thought about
nothing is. And you found a way.
Detroit is.
Opposite direction.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Detroit is.
Detroit, the young boys ain't playing up there. Like, they better not see them in the playoffs. They don't get back.
Like you said, you're behind Boston, who's missing 1A, 1B. You behind Detroit. They all kids. You behind Detroit. You're looking up at a broken East. All y'all people here. But as Ray said earlier, the Knicks go Nick. I'm sure that they won't hit the button until it's half a season too late. So we'll see how that goes. Carter, you have one more? Or you want to close things out?
I mean, they like a game and a half out of being in 7th place, anyways.
I'm saying, man. So what if you got to go do? Like, I'm not even sure they could beat Philly if Embiid and all them ready to go, bro. Because y'all can't stop them.
No. And you don't play defense, so you're not even gonna find Maxey long enough to slow him down.
And Paul George ain't he got the pressure on. He's like, man, I'm third, fourth option. Paul George, your third or fourth option, dog. And who's the next third or fourth option? Bridges, OG.
Yeah.
Deuce McBride.
See Wilson, the petty laugh, man. You got it, man.
Clarkson.
I'm in trouble for laughing. She just said Deuce McBride. But you want to know, we appreciate y'all. Get y'all next week. Same time as always.
I think I'm right.
That's wild.